Nobody move.
Nobody gets hurt.
I'm Nick G.
I'm Mike D.
And this is Good Cop, Bad Cop. I'd like to thank our sponsors today, Pop McCann Whiskey, smoothest drink in the land. Grab your bottle today at popsmccannwhiskey.com. Also like to thank Friends of Martina White. Visit votemartina.com for more information about the work Martina has been doing as state representative of Pennsylvania. We would also like to thank our sponsor, Beyond Creative. If you're ready to take your online presence to the next level, visit beyondocreative.com or call 267-362-WEB1 to discuss your project. And our title sponsor, AR Law, arjusticenow.com. We fight so you don't have to. Adams Renzi Law. We would also like to thank our sponsor, Morrow Flooring, hardwood, laminate, vinyl, tile, and carpet. You get military and first responders discount. That is Morrow Flooring. You can go to goodcopbadcoppodcast.com. Click on his link for more details. All right, welcome back to the Good Cop, Bad Cop podcast. My God, Mike, where the hell did you come from? I'm Nick Gerace. This is Mike Dowd.
Mickey D, right here.
Mickey D. I mean, we're going to have an interesting show today. We have a great guest. But for right now, where the hell are you coming from?
Well, I
strip club?
Listen.
I have to
let everybody know. I just came in from Vegas, okay? So that's...
Yeah, you flew in from Vegas?
I flew in from Vegas.
Your arm's tired?
The turbulence was a little rough. A couple ups and downs on the way in and out of Vegas. But I figured, listen, everybody's going to hear about it anyway. So I had a red sequins jacket on, all right?
Jesus, you look like Liberace's gift.
Yeah, I just need a little piano in front of me.
Oh, my God.
And a young boy.
All right. Well, so, you got a great show lined up today. You got a great show tonight.
Did he like that?
Off the rails. I'm sure the women love that, by the way. I used to wear something like that back in the day.
Actually, confession, I wore this and it was out of control. The people were out of control coming up to me, smiling at me, laughing at me, hugging me, wanting to touch my jacket. It didn't end. People were signing their names in the back of my shirt, which was if you of my shirt. If you touch it,
It says "kick me."
It says "kick me." Is that what she said? She said she wrote her name.
I threw a big penis in the back of it earlier.
That fit quite nicely, just so you know.
Yeah, right?
Yeah, that big thing you threw.
That's the first time you ever had one on you.
Yeah, you're so sweet.
All right, so let's introduce our guest here. This is William Hunter.
William Hunter.
He is one of, if it can arguably be said, one of the greatest Philadelphia police officers in the history of the department. And I'm not saying that because you're here. It's actually the truth. If we can go back, if police stats were kind of kept like the NFL, Billy would be in the argument as one of the all-time pros. For real.
Wow. So we're sitting with a modern-day hero.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
I used to work with some good guys.
This is the guy that we can actually say is a hero.
Yeah. So when you grew up, said, I want to be a police officer, that's the guy who you wanted to be.
Oh, really?
Yeah, absolutely.
Not me?
I remember. No, not you. Definitely not you. Depend. Yeah, that's a
different program.
You're taking a different route.
That's a different program.
Yes. So, can you slide that over here? So,
yes.
We're not going to get into it right this second, but there you go. Hold that up. Billy wrote Surviving the Badlands. He's still an active Philadelphia police officer. We're going to dive into this book in a few minutes, but just to embarrass Billy a little bit more, when I was a rookie cop in the Badlands,
right.
You'd see Billy and his team walk through the district or precinct, as you would have.
Oh, front and Westmoreland.
Yeah, front and Westmoreland. And, you look up and be like, man, who the fucking
gangsters.
They were gangsters. They were gangsters. They were like, who the hell is that guy? That is Billy Hunter. It's one of the best cops. He's in our narcotics, and he's a wrestling badass, and he fights and all kinds of shit. Yeah, that's the truth.
Yeah,
the guys were meant we're going to get into that.
Yeah, that's one of the things. Of course, I went bad. Okay, everybody knows I went bad, but when I saw those guys that were really, really, it touched my heart so much, and it still does today. I actually have a soft spot for that because I failed.
Right.
I failed. And I failed myself, my family, and the department. But when I see guys like him, I told you, I'm honored. I'm honored that you're here. I really am. Okay, and that's very deepness in my heart. So thank you for coming.
Yeah. I feel the same way. I failed. I only did 12 years. I didn't do. He's still on.
Right.
Yeah. How many years you have on now?
A little over 33. Closer to 34.
34. All right. So you wrote a book, and we'll touch on the beginning of it, which is just your life. So we don't have to really dive into the book per se, because we're diving into the book by just talking to you.
Right.
So when did the whole police thing start? Where did you grow up? How did this all come about?
I was actually born in North Philly. I lived in a little street called Percy Street, right off 9th in Indiana. One of the things that people always ask me, because I'm fortunate to speak Spanish pretty well, they always say to me, "Where did you
Would you
study?"
get it beat into you?
I grew up. I was born there. My best friend was Boricua, and
Yeah, I love him.
it's funny
I love them.
when we moved out of Percy Street, we moved to Juniata Park, where it was a
The
K
suburbs
Street.
of Kensington.
Yeah, exactly. The other end of the 25th district. That's all it was. I thought it was miles away. But within 6 months, he moved across the street from me. So my whole childhood was in and out of his house,
Right.
and that's all they spoke there. So I was very fortunate. Even when I got to North Catholic, I took the class because I wanted the easy A. And I still remember sitting there in class, and I didn't really participate. I just sat there. I didn't volunteer for nothing. I would just wait for the tests. Tests come out. I fill them out. I hand them back. And the teacher's name was Mr. Musatano. And halfway through the first semester, he stops me. He says to me, "Hunter, I checked into you, and you're not an A student. How you pulling this off?"
He thought you were cheating, didn't he?
Yes. He did some research. They did some recon on you. Holy
It was getting nuts. And then, of course, during wrestling season, because we don't eat during wrestling season, we're trying to cut weight.
right.
Everybody would sit at my lunch table with their Spanish homework, and I would do all their homework.
No, you're a good guy. You're a good guy.
I had to keep
Guys
listening.
in my school wouldn't do that shit. One kid saw me cheating off of me covered up.
Covered
Like, you
up,
bad- yeah, I was really good.
Yes.
I had great eyesight. I could see like,
A mile away.
oh yeah, I could see great. I
The
got
A's, the
20/20.
B's.
I was cheating off some guy like 4 desks up.
Yeah, right. Yeah.
And the teacher accused me of it. He caught me, and I went like, I was, I went through hell and back. I did not, how am I going to, cheat off this guy 4 desks up? I was cheating all the time. I sold it,
Because everyone he got wrong, you got
Yeah,
wrong.
I sold it. I said, that's what I want. Went down to the principal. How far up is he? Oh, yeah. How's he going to cheat like that? Yeah, I could see the whole damn thing. But those guys weren't like, cheat off me. They cover up and stuff.
Yeah, I know. I hated that.
Billy's over here giving out answers and shit for free, right? You didn't even charge him.
No, it was fun. They're all friends.
So what year is this? What years were you in high school?
75 to 79.
Okay. So it was kind of a rough era back then, especially down where people listening don't know what we're talking about. North Philly, and back then it was more of a blue collar,
Exactly.
Spanish and white area, but it was rough, man.
Well, we lived on Percy. My dad's a fireman, so we
Yeah.
lived. There were 2 or 3 other firemen that lived on the block. I was young when we moved, though, but I probably like maybe 7 or 8. But I still remember everybody, and I'll tell you the funny thing is when I returned, I went, "Oh my God, what happened?" And
Different
when I came back, yeah. And maybe it looked like that when I was a kid. I didn't notice it.
No, it didn't. It was
No.
different because Kensington Kensington Avenue was the hub of shopping. People from all
Commerce.
went there. Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's now it's known as Kensington Beach. The dead, walking zombies.
Right.
You see clips of it on
Right,
TV,
right,
and that's the area that Billy grew up in. But in the '70s, it was hardworking, kind of a rough area. But people
Stickball. They played stickball,
Yeah,
stickball.
stickball,
So
fireball.
it's a community.
threw the
I sold
shoes on the
pretzels.
The sneakers on the.
I sold pretzels on the same corners these kids are selling drugs on. I sold pretzels.
Right.
So you hustled pretzels, they hustled dope.
Yeah.
But that's what's evolved out there. There's no one selling pretzels out there anymore. The pretzel place on Kensington Avenue closed down.
Yeah, Ben Franklin.
Yeah, Ben
I
Franklin.
remember I had last day it was open.
Yeah.
So
That's impressive.
let me go back up to my dates. So he's my age. This
Yeah,
gentleman's
you
my
guys are
age.
the same exact age.
Yeah. The move
Mhm.
fires.
Yes, I remember them.
Okay. Now, were you on the job?
No. My father was a fireman then. I was working. I never intended. I was 29 when I went through the police academy.
Okay, because I would have been on the job at that age.
Right.
In fact, I think I was.
I had
What
no
year, do you remember what
intention.
year that was?
Yeah.
Do you remember what year the move fired?
First one was 78. That was the first confrontation, and the second confrontation was 87.
Right.
87 was the bombing.
Yeah, that was the
87 was in the.
Osage Avenue.
It was like
Yeah.
a 50-mile-an-hour wind or something that
Yeah.
day, right? And then
Yeah.
they bombed the place and just took the whole block.
It's
Yeah.
funny. I'm goofy. I remember dates. If I'm right, the date was like May 13th,
Okay, makes sense.
1987.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure.
Well, you're
Probably
probably
right.
You're
Yeah,
probably,
probably
right.
right.
You're probably right. Yes. Well,
But I
I
had no
remember.
intention on being an officer. I had no intention.
you wanted to be a fireman?
Well, I kind of did, but at the time I got out of high school, and I'm one of 7, and the schools we went to was St. Joe's Prep,
Yeah.
Little Flower, and North Catholic. So Dad was a fireman, so he couldn't afford college, so I went to work.
God, there's similarities between you two.
My dad was a fireman. There's
Yeah.
7 siblings in my family.
I had to go to work, and next thing you know, at the age of 20, I was a father. Became a father at a very young age.
Ooh, that's
So I got a job in a steel yard right there in Port Richmond, and it was actually a good union job. And I'm thinking, okay, this is good for me. I was able to buy a house very young. And then in the late 80s, I started to go back to night school because I wanted to be a gym teacher / wrestling coach. That was it. That was
That's
my
cool.
life goal. Gym teacher, wrestling coach. So I was going to Temple at night, but I'm working in the steel yard. And if you remember, you'll remember more than Nick, that the steel industries were going down back then. They started to go down.
Yeah.
And I was kind of panicking because my children were little. I had a mortgage. So I probably took 25 different tests, knowing, okay, I only got 4 more years of night school because I was already in 4 years.
Right.
4 more years of night school to go. Let me get through this. And next thing you know, police department calls me in 91 to go into police academy. Actually, it was first step to police. Okay. And they call me and they go, well, I'm going to take it. Within a year, that steel company closed down.
Okay.
Yeah.
So it was a great
Where was
move on
that
my
at?
part. Aramingo and Butler.
Okay.
Right now, there's like a Home Depot or Lowe's
Yeah.
there. Right
Yeah.
there.
So let me ask you a question. It's 1991. You
Yeah.
get into the police academy.
Yeah.
Okay. You went through all the rigmarole, the background check. You cleared everything. You're in the academy, and a guy in New York City gets arrested, called Michael Dowd. Was that all over the newspaper for you guys?
I don't remember that.
Wow.
I don't remember.
Yeah, man, that's too different. You got
That's why I'm asking. We're just
I don't
Yeah, I don't remember.
right. No, because it was all over.
Yeah,
the
it was all
international-
over, yeah.
international news. But
Mhm.
but when you're in the academy, they used to say this is how I found out. Cops would be getting extra push-up for Dowd.
Yeah.
They go, yeah, give us 10 more for Dowd, in the academy. That's what was going on. And guys that didn't know me hated me, of course. They hated me anyway for being disparaging the badge. Now they hated me because I was making them do extra push-ups. So I get a phone call one day, 30 years later, which is a couple years back from now, 10 years back from now. And the guy goes, yeah, this is John Cardillo. John Cardillo, he's a personality out there. And he goes, I have a show. I want you on it. I go, all right, well, whatever. We'll talk. He's a retired detective from the Bronx. He goes, I hated your guts, he says. He says, I did get a big chest from doing the push-ups. I said, so you owe me now.
Yeah.
Anyway, so this is what the era that you started in
Yes.
the academy. So now crack is sort of fading a little bit, right? I mean, 91, everybody's almost dead from the crack era because it started in 83.
In the 90s, it was still strong.
It was still strong by you guys? Yeah.
What I saw in the 90s was more heroin,
Heroin,
and
yes.
crack.
So,
I didn't little I seen weed. I didn't see any meth till probably
Yeah, I didn't know.
after 2000.
yeah.
I barely ever saw meth.
Yeah, well,
When I was
it's-
down in
it's-
Kensington. I mean,
It's just as prevalent
What?
as it's not even heroin anymore. It's fentanyl
Yeah.
or xylazine
Yeah.
and methamphetamine. It's
Yeah.
all horse tranquilizers is what it is out
Yeah.
there now.
Yeah, Jesus.
Yeah.
So what I when I first hit the street in 82,
Mhm.
it was a big thing on angel dust. It was big. And everybody was crazy. Angel dust makes people wackadoo, and so that was the first real foray into street cop work was angel dust. And I make an arrest. I don't know if I told the story on here. I make an arrest for angel dust. I don't even know what the fuck. I don't even know what the stuff is. Okay, and the guy's got a gun. Tommy Parks, Bogart and Parks. My first arrest in East New York. I know their name. Bogart and Parks. Long story short, I don't want to get into the story too deep, but I'm touching the angel dust.
with your bare hands.
Yeah,
We didn't know.
I didn't know.
Right. We didn't.
I'm going like this.
Mhm.
Freaking spinning my head off. And the guy walks in, veteran, like let's say you now, right? Guy walks in and goes, how you feeling? I look at him like, what do you mean how am I feeling? Because now I'm a rookie, right?
Yeah.
What do you mean how am I feeling? He goes, be careful with that stuff. It's going to get you high if you touch it. I'm sitting there in La La Land going, I want to say, screw you. I can't curse anymore on this show, but I'm going to say, screw you. But
Okay, screw you. It's good.
screw you's good?
Yeah,
Okay,
yeah, we're good.
I'm kind of screwing you. And I'm buzzing I'm buzzing. Oh my God, this guy's right. I'm getting high. What if I get drug tested now? You know what I mean? This is what goes through your head.
Yeah.
So here you are. It's 91. You're in the academy. Did you like the academy?
Yeah, I think that one of the reasons I wrote that book had to do with the academy and what my personal life. I mean, academy was great. It taught me the law. It taught me the do's and don'ts. How to what we can say, what we can't say. We go to court. All that was what you're going to learn in the academy.
We must have went to a different academy.
How I handled things was how I was brought up. The people who educated me, the educators at North Catholic, the Oblates of St. Francis, and my family. I mean, my own personal experiences that's how common sense was set in, and that's the best word I can think of.
So one of the things that I like about Mr. Hunter here is that he started at 29 years old.
Which
That's an advantage that people have no clue.
I started at 20.
Yeah,
Mhm.
like
I'm
a
a
child.
baby.
You're
I'm
a
a
child. Yeah.
Yeah.
Now, I don't think you shouldn't be hired at 20.
Sorry.
As a
I
kid.
hate to
No,
say
it's
that.
funny.
'Cause
I agree.
I hate to say it.
At the time, I was one of the oldest guys in the class, and
Of course.
You
they
should
were
be
they
over
were teasing
25.
me, calling me the old man
Yeah.
till
Yeah.
PT came around.
Yeah.
Once PT came around, I smoked everybody, and then I was no longer the old.
No, now you weren't the old guy anymore. Yeah. Yeah. Well, wrestling, listen,
Yeah, I was still
wrestlers are the toughest guys in the world. I don't care.
yeah.
I don't care what you
still
say.
entering wrestling tournaments.
I'll be
at the
honest
age
with you,
of
man.
30.
In high school, I was like, dude, I ain't wearing that Speedo.
That's
That's
that's the problem.
no way in a world I'm putting that
And
on.
in my school,
I wish I did now.
yeah, I know, right? Of course.
Yeah.
At my school, we were the champs. Our Brentwood High School was known
Okay,
For-
up in New York.
up in New York. Brentwood
Yeah.
High School was known for the
Oh, yeah.
championships.
They are good.
They were the best, right? And Walker was the coach of the junior high school, and then the high school was Campo. And they were beasts. They were absolute beasts. These coaches. And you if you got on the team, you did everything that guy said every day of your life until he did. He was the military drill sergeant, the whole bit. But here's the problem. I didn't like. You had to get your head shaved, not shaved, but you had to get a crew cut.
Yeah, yeah.
And-
There was a hair
You
requirement.
had to get
Yeah.
a crew cut.
There
And
was no, that's no longer. I officiated high school
yeah,
wrestling.
yeah, yeah,
You don't even check hair.
yeah, yeah.
Really?
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Hair, not, the
We
beard,
had-
long
yeah.
hair.
I wouldn't join
It wasn't the tight
the
clothes?
wrestling team because I had to get a crew cut.
Yeah.
Well, that's how stupid.
I wouldn't
we are.
join because of the clothes.
Yeah.
I like wrestling.
Yeah.
Swear to God. I played ice hockey. Everybody's
Yeah.
look at this guy.
I pinned
little
the-
did I know.
I pinned the county.
What school?
Ryan.
Okay.
I pinned the county champ.
Mhm.
I did a half Nelson chicken wing. I sat out, I reached over, did a half Nelson chicken wing, put him. I pinned him. He was county champ.
Wow.
We missed your calling.
Yeah,
Maybe
I love wrestling. I
Should have
love it.
shaved.
I should. My life would have went
Yeah.
a completely different direction.
You'd be sitting here with Billy writing a good book about how you were a good cop.
Yeah.
You weren't corrupt.
And Walker saw me pin him,
Yeah.
and he goes, "You want to join the wrestling team?" I go, "I don't want to get my hair cut."
Like to thank our sponsors today, Martina White. Friends of Martina White can visit votemartina.com for more information about the work Martina's been doing as a state representative in Pennsylvania. And let me tell you, Mike, she's a big supporter of police. She backs the blue. She's a proven fighter for families, women, everybody.
Is she a patriot? Is she America first?
Absolutely. She encompasses, the American spirit for sure. We have a big population of listeners in Northeast Philadelphia, Southeast Pennsylvania, which would be her area. So you can check her out. at
Has
Vote
she
Martina.
been in? I'm not familiar with the Philly district. Is she new to the scene, or is she, looking for re-election?
She'll be up for re-election in a couple years, but she's been around for a while. She has a proven track record.
Okay.
You can check her out. Her record really speaks for itself, especially when it comes to fighting for everyday citizens and backing the blue.
It's nice to have someone back in the blue. I mean, the officers are out there risking their lives every day, and with little pay and little appreciation in today's environment, it's been very difficult. And as you know, being a Philadelphia guy,
Unfortunately, that's something that's not common. Should be. It used to be a time where both sides of the aisle agreed on law enforcement, and
Yeah.
that's something that's completely lacking. But with Martina White, she steps up to the plate, always has our backs, and does what's right.
great. Good luck with Martina.
Yeah, you can get more information at votemartina.com. I'd like to thank our title sponsor of the show, Adams Renzi Law, AR Law. They can be found at arjusticenow.com. And just to let you know, I know both of them personally. Christy, one of the nicest people you'll ever meet, total sweetheart, absolute pit bull in the courtroom. And Nick Renzi, he's a South Philadelphia guy, true and true, neighborhood man. He's for the people. He helps people out down in South Philly, all around
Their
Philadelphia.
office is in South Philly itself.
Yes, their office is in right around South Philly, Center City, right on the
Do
border.
they handle a
there.
lot of criminal cases?
They handle everything, absolutely.
Are they on call 24/7 for someone who
always-
might take a pinch somewhere?
Why, you might be taking
Well,
a
I
pinch
mean,
that we know about?
you never know. I mean, wherever you show up, you got to be ready.
Well, you can keep their card on you.
Well,
Or
there
go
you
to
go.
their
Well,
website and
good,
call
good.
them up.
Will they give me a deal since they're sponsors of the show?
You might get a percentage off. I'll have to talk to her.
Okay. Yeah.
If you used them a few years ago, you might have not have gotten 14 years.
Well, that's another story.
Another story for another time.
That's right.
Again, AR Law, check them out. arjusticenow.com. We would also like to thank our sponsor, Beyond.o. In today's world, your business is practically invisible if you're not online. With so many options for marketing your business, it's easy to get confused. That's where Beyond.o Creative steps in. They have the expertise to help you with all of your marketing needs. Need a website that wows visitors? They'll build it. Want to reach more customers with Google Ads? They'll make it happen. They'll even manage your social media so you can focus on what you do best. Beyond.o Creative is A+ rated with the Better Business Bureau and Google Premier Partner. They're the real deal. If you're ready to take your online presence to the next level, visit beyondocreative.com. That's BIONDOCREATIVE.com or call 267-362-WEB1, Web 1 to discuss your project now. I'd like to thank our sponsor, Morrow Flooring, hardwood, laminate, vinyl, tile, and carpet, military first responder discount. You know, Tommy, we had him as a guest on a podcast. You can get your flooring done by a real American hero.
Yeah, and he's on time and on budget.
Yes, he is. He will beat any price. Bring a quote, an estimate, whatever you have. Tommy will beat it, 100% guaranteed. You have our backing on that one.
And he'll be there himself.
Absolutely. You can get a real American hero do your flooring for you.
Son of a gun.
All right, so you're 29. You're in the academy. Are you you still going through night school too? While you're in the
Yeah, I
academy?
was.
So you're doing the academy and night school.
I finished night school in 95.
Damn.
And I was 4 years in. I was working last out in the 25th district, so I had to make another decision. And I was like, I'm thinking, holy shit, I'm having a lot of fun. So,
Yep.
yes, I decided, let me stay a little longer. And here I am
So this
a
was
lot longer.
so your plan was just to stroll in until you graduate. Then you're going to leave being a
That was exactly my plan.
and right. You graduate the academy. You go down to the Badlands.
Well, I recovered half of that. I was the wrestling coach.
Yeah.
That much I did.
yeah. You did. I know you did.
Yeah. So, but the whole gym teacher thing didn't
We'll
work out
touch
for
on
me
that
yet.
later. Some famous people you've coached.
Yeah.
Uber famous. Oh yeah.
Yes.
He's wearing his shirt. We'll get on that a little bit later.
Cool.
Yeah.
So I want to hear your first day in the street.
Yeah. So you graduate. You go
You
to
walk out of
Okay. You know, I don't talk about this in the book, but I can talk about it now.
Okay.
All right. This is funny. So first night on the street, they give me a car, 2513 car.
So you get a car.
Oh,
Your
yeah.
first day.
I didn't have a key.
Solo
Solo.
in the 25th.
In the
That's the
25th.
way it was down there, man.
That's the way they were short. So I had to go to a friend of mine. It's God bless him because he's passed now. Steven Vajaseski. Steve, we wrestled together at North. And
Wow.
he was already working there. So I said, Steve, I ain't even got a key. He whips out his keychain, hands me a key, goes, here you go, Bill. I said, all right, Steve, cool. So I slept off. I knew I was going to last out. That's what I went to, last out. So I'm driving, answering all kinds of calls. I know I had an arrest that night, a stolen car arrest, but it's about 4:30 in the morning.
Your first day out, you had a stolen car arrest?
Wait. Stop. Wait, hold on. Stop.
Yeah. Well, this is what happened. I still
There's
remember
something
this
here.
vividly. You're new, so guys will feel you out.
Of course.
So my first night, I remember I was coming down 2nd Street by Cambria. You know the area.
Mhm.
And the GRM came out, general radio message came out for a stolen car out of New Jersey. They said the make, model, and tag, and the thing was right in front of me.
Oh, you can't make that
So
up.
I'm like, oh, man. So I kind of was real nervous going, okay, I got to go over the air and say this, right? So my heart's probably going a million miles an hour, right? But I say it real calmly. This is where I'm at. Car's directly in front of me. And I waited.
Hold on. So people don't realize how difficult that is to be calm in that situation.
Oh, yeah.
Your first time, I mean, I've heard guys go like,
Yeah.
what the hell's going on? He did just screaming.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, kudos for you.
I was real calm, and I went over air.
That's being 29 years old.
Yes. Yeah, exactly right.
Well,
That's
no, it's a big
age.
difference.
Yeah. And I just followed them until I seen the other cars coming behind me. And once they came behind me, I lit the car up. The car actually pulled right over. And, they didn't deny nothing. But, I went up blocking them up, and it was like kind of like the older guys are going, hey, good job, kid. It's kind of go back.
Meanwhile, they were younger than you.
Yeah, probably
Because that
not.
don't matter.
Yeah.
Oh,
Now,
yeah.
back then.
Well, a
I
lot of kids when I was 20 when I started.
right.
I was younger than everybody.
Yeah, the average age on back then in the district cops were 10 years on, but now it's quite different.
Yeah,
because
right.
the rollover's so
The
high.
rollover, yeah.
But anyway, the night goes on. I get back on the street and I'm riding around. It's about 4:30. I had to take some lady to Temple Hospital, and I'm at Temple Hospital. And I'll pull Steve, the one that gave me the key. Love Steve, because he had passed a couple of years ago.
Uh-huh.
But he says to me, Bill, he goes, how do you like it so far? I said, Steve, it's good. He goes, I'm going to give you some advice. I said, what's that, Steve? He goes, when these calls come out, let them simmer a little bit. You're jumping on them too soon. So I
No
go,
bad advice.
Right.
It's your first day.
as I said, well, you know what, Steve? I knew I was going to last out. And I kind of knew, like, I'm really awake and I slept all day. He goes, okay. He goes, you feel like having a beer? I went, well, we get done at 7. Where you want to go? Steve opened up a cooler. I went, oh my God.
All right.
That's what
I'm not lying. I'm not lying.
Listen,
Marvin, I'm not lying. I'm telling you.
every time we had new cops, we'd meet up at H and Tioga.
Uh-huh.
Where the thing is at like 10 o'clock at night, an hour before.
Before the end of the tour. Yeah.
Yeah.
Crack beers.
Yeah.
And we'd throw one to the new guy. We'd all wait to see what he would do.
Yeah.
If he'd drink one. If he'd drink one, we'd be like, all right.
He's all right. They can hang with him.
Yeah.
Yeah. See, people don't realize that
Plenty of
was the
them.
culture. It really was.
It was.
I don't know today. I'm not
Yeah.
out there in the street, and probably not, because
Probably not.
it's a different
now.
world today.
Yeah.
It's a different world today. In fact, I'll tell you a connection to that. My boss, deputy inspector at the time, which is pretty high ranking.
Yeah.
He ran the precinct. He was his name was Farrell. I think it's Farrell. I'm getting confused here because I'm getting old now. And
He's remembering dates
he'd
50
say
years ago.
I'm going to take whatever he's taking. All right. So he would say we'd have like so every month you have a precinct meeting, but it was the fellas, not it was like we rent the hall one day a month, and everybody gets together.
You drinking?
It's a party.
Yeah.
It's a
Choir
precincts.
practice.
But it's a precinct party for all the guys.
Right.
One day a month. So who shows up? But the boss shows up at the thing. He wants to say hello to the guys. He's a knockaround guy, and so we're allowed to go there and get a free meal for the guys that are working the shift, and just don't drink too much. That's the boss. That's what the boss says.
Yeah.
Just don't drink too much. That's all. Don't have a couple.
Yeah.
But not too
It's
much.
different. It's different
So
time.
that's how it was. It was not a curse.
Yeah.
It wasn't a sin. Now, of course, guys like me, we abuse everything, So I had, like he said,
Well, you went from-
I made the cost in the back of the Dodges. There was a bucket. You're sitting and your feet sit in a bucket, basically, and it's a bucket, right? And it's about this high, and it's this wide. So that was an ice container. All
Makes
right.
sense.
So we put a hole in the floor so that the water could drain out as the ice melted.
That's usually what cops do. Man.
As the ice melted, the water drained out. I mean,
We are
No
our worst enemies. So I'll give you an example. My first day and first week.
so he makes a GLA, Grand Lodge.
So
First thing.
what we did, my first day, I rode around with somebody, and I was told, do not get out of the car, don't touch the radio. Yes, sorry. Don't touch the radio. Don't do anything.
Yes, correct.
And it's correct advice.
Yes.
And, the guy I graduated, I ain't gonna say his name. He's screaming like a stuffed pig. He's chasing someone. He's giving the wrong, and it was like over nonsense. So,
I can guess, but I'll say nothing.
so maybe it was 99. We came out.
Yeah.
Okay.
And the whole district's in uproar. We can't find him. I know it's a guy I graduated with, and it's just utter mayhem. And it was really over nothing.
Over nothing.
He was running around by being tussled on the railroad track, chasing
I
someone.
call that the Rocky Bridge.
Yeah, the Rocky Bridge. Yep.
Do you know when we came out of the academy? First of all, there was 3,600 of us that graduated that day.
Wow.
Yeah,
Okay.
we're a couple hundred.
All right, 3,600 of us. They didn't have enough radios because you hit the street all at once. Because it's your first day. Everybody's assigned their first day.
I've hit the street in Philly without radios before
Yeah.
because we don't have enough.
Yeah, we didn't have them. We had them in the car,
Yeah.
and there was only so many handhelds.
Yep. Same.
Right.
And that
so-
was still every
yeah.
now and then.
Yeah,
We
yeah.
have that.
Yeah.
Mhm.
So, but I guess my point, so the point is that there was so many of us that came out that we didn't see cars for months.
Yeah.
So we all walked the beat when we first came out of the academy. All of us, every one of us.
That's-
And to that effect, we ended up. What do you do when a civilian's driving by and you take their car from them? What do you call it?
Commandeer.
We
Live
commandeered.
stop.
We were,
Yeah, commandeer.
we were
Okay.
commandeering cars all over the city. Cabbies, pull over, boom. We got in the car, go. They had the lights and sirens. They thought we put your headlights on, flashed them, just to get down the block, to whatever.
Yeah.
For an aided case. It was crazy.
We It's 24th. I was in a district next to Billy, but we were combined, same building. And when it was at Front and West, was
Go from West. Love that building.
that was like an old Indian fort. You know, you're
It's
in
still there. They can't tear
yeah,
it down.
Yeah, because it's asbestos.
Yeah.
I'll tell a story about that too. I'll tell you now. So I'm one of the last cops that left that building, and literally I'm driving away. Guys in suits showed up with breathing apparatus, and he put a sign: "Do not enter without proper
Yeah,
breathing."
but we're walking around like this.
Yeah, there's plenty of people down where you were died of brain. I knew a few of my friends have passed away from brain cancer. They were all downstairs in that next room.
Yeah.
That's where it was all at. It was leaking.
It was the worst.
One of them actually took a sample, sent it away to get analyzed. He's one of the ones that died. Yeah, died of brain cancer. He's only about in his 40s.
Is that Ray?
No, it was Coelho.
Okay.
Yeah, Mikey C. Good guy.
I remember.
That's insane.
Yeah, a lot of people, right?
Yeah.
Was this a precinct house?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was our district.
Yeah.
So I'm brand new, and it was only a week. It was a week later, and it's Fat Night. That's when squads,
All
overlap.
squads are in.
All squads are in and call it Fat Night.
Right,
It happens on one time when the 4 to 12.
Right.
You do 2 weeks of 4 to 12, 2 weeks of 7A to 3P.
Right.
Fat Night, it's twice a month
Right.
at the end of each one.
Okay.
And we have to send a guy over to the 24th district. I remember there was a couple new cops. I'm like, please don't be me. And of course, Gerace, go to the 25th. Dude, I haven't even driven alone in the 24th yet. And you go over to the 25th, and they just say, okay, take out your 255 car. And I'm just like, that's it? They're like, yeah, good luck, kid.
Get out there.
And I'm by myself. I got a radio call for a stolen auto. You laugh, dude. I got it at it was overnight. It was 11A to 7P. I got it 1 a.m. I didn't get there till 6 a.m. I drove around for 6 hours looking for this house. I was not asking anyone where it's from. And my partner at the time got, my friend, he got sent too. So we met up at 5th and
We didn't have cell
Hunting
phones
Park.
back then either.
No, we got cell phones. We met up at 5th and Hunting Park, 3 MDT, I think, or dumb luck. I'm like, dude, I can't find this house. Finally, 6 a.m., I knock. We called 5 hours ago. I'm like, I just got it.
Yeah.
I don't even know how to write a stolen auto report.
You know how to write the report?
I didn't know how to write a report. Thank God, nothing else crazy happened. But that was my entire night.
Yeah.
6 hours. I was not asking anybody where this address was. And it's a little bit different. This guy's getting a stolen auto.
Yeah, just, and handling it very calmly. Very,
Well, I knew the streets. I was very familiar with the streets.
Yeah,
I
I
had no
know the
problem.
streets.
Yeah, I knew them.
Yeah.
Dude, I know I'm going to 24th. I'm sitting at home. The computers were fairly new. I'm printing out MapQuest, and I'm cutting and pasting. I come in, I got this map.
No way. Yeah.
I got lucky. Some old timer gave me a street guide. It was the best street guide I've ever seen. I used to, and I would show up before guys have been in district for a year with this street guide. I would take a second. This guy told me, can't help if you don't get there.
Yeah.
Take your time, look at your street guide, and then go. And I did that every time.
Yeah.
I got there before most people, and I was good.
Yeah.
Then eventually you figure it out.
No, you know every inch.
Yeah.
of that place now.
Yeah.
You don't need
At
that.
night in your sleep, you can go through any block and any house. I used to go down every
you weren't
block.
robbing people.
I used to go down every block at night in my head. Every block from the beginning to the precinct to the end, and pick out the drug houses. Every block that I'm going to hit that day. The next day when I go in, I had a whole list of them every day because every block had 2 or 3. Every block.
There you go. So have you seen corruption? Again, you're still on a job. You don't have to get a name. But back in the 90s, did you see the blatant open corruption that a lot of departments were facing back then?
No.
I can say that myself too.
No.
I can honestly say that. I've never.
I've worked with some of the greatest guys. I saw. You said that I was a real good cop. I had good people around me, and people who my supervisors were great, and that's one of the reasons I wrote this book. I'm near the end, and I've had a great career. I've been all over the place. But I give advice to young kids. Here's some funny advice I give these young kids.
Go ahead.
I tell them this: every time you get transferred, you go to what's called a transfer interview, and you go before a board.
Yeah.
And they ask you questions. Okay. Nobody has ever asked me, what's my degree in? They've never asked that question. They've never said to me, because I'm actually pretty proficient in a third language. They've never even asked me that question. There's 2 questions asked at every single interview. And these are the 2 questions. 1, how much sick time have you used in the past year?
Yep.
And 2, how many complaints do you have?
Yep.
So I go, the secret is this then. Show up every day and don't piss people off.
Yep.
Yeah.
What more could you ask for?
Yeah. Well, so I use this analogy, and Nick's heard me say it. It's the only job in the world. First of all, there's a lot of things about the job that are wonderful, but it's the only job in the world that the day you get it, someone's trying to take it from you.
Yep. I said that too. I've never been closer to being arrested than when I was a cop, and that's
Yeah.
being a good cop.
Yeah. Every
You know,
day.
there's plenty of times where you make a legal, reasonable arrest, and now eyes are on you, and
Right.
especially this day and age, you know that.
You think?
Look at Joe Bologna.
Yeah, I love Joe.
Joe's
Joe's the best guy I've ever worked with.
Again, no, Joe Bologna. Yeah, we have which we will be doing a series on soon. Larry Krasner, kind of how I got started in this whole media empire. I hated that man. I watched what he did to cops. I started a pack, try to get rid of him.
Right.
He's a complete piece of crap, and I'd love to get in a ring with the guy. Anyway, he spends more time on trying to lock up cops than he does
Of
criminals.
course. Yeah.
Just during these
So does Bragg in New York.
during these riots, there's 2,000 hours of tapes of rioting.
Right.
He didn't look at the rioters. He looked at all police officers.
See what they would
So
do.
he ends up, again, another guy, Joe Bologna. He's, again, I want to grow up and be a cop, some little kid. I want to be Hunter, or I want to be Joe Bologna.
Okay.
That's who you want to be when you want.
And he got jammed up.
He got jammed up. He's locking up a dirty scumbag protester,
Right.
right? That's attacking him.
Right.
He hit him, and I'll give.
I watched the video.
Yeah, so have I. I'll
Yeah.
give the term on the fleshy, meaty part of his shoulder with his nightstick.
All right.
That's it,
So
right? Well, they said he knocked him in the head with the nightstick, aggravated assault, locked him up. I mean, this guy has one of the best careers ever. Great guy. Krasner just lied, planted evidence. It's criminal with what happened to Joe. He's been exonerated. He's now suing. He's got the best attorney, George Mercado, in the country, who was one of Trump's lawyers at one time.
Right.
They're going to be suing Krasner, and genius on a great angle, too.
Mhm.
I can't believe how George came up with this, but he's going to get his eventually. But yeah, I mean, and this is what we face, these days, especially now.
what's the ground? What's the ground? You alluded to something here.
So Krasner, he sat in. So they have immunity. These district attorneys,
Right, they can
can't
do
sue him or do anything.
Right.
Well, he gave up his immunity when he sat in on the interview as an investigator. So now it's qualified immunity, and you illegally did something. So now he's going after him in that route. Like, great hook. So yeah,
he actually. So when you sit in an interview.
he kind of relinquished his immunity as the district attorney, because now he's doing a job that he's not supposed to be doing.
Oh.
Yep.
Wow.
It's genius.
Wow.
Genius. Yeah. Krasner's a scumbag and a dirty person. We can do an 8-hour show on this guy.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Don't talk.
No,
Don't say nothing.
Yeah, he's on the job still.
So one of our cops were killed in the line of duty. O'Connor.
You put some.
Yeah.
He was my corporal.
Yeah. Great guy. And Krasner put his son on no testify list because he's bad mouthing him. He wasn't bad mouthing him. He was talking about his dad and what really happened. Yeah, there he goes, right there.
Let me see that.
There he is. Rest in peace.
Mhm.
Let me see him.
Great guy.
Jimmy's standing right in front of me. He's got the white thing on because he's a supervisor.
Right here.
Yeah.
Yep.
He's dead.
He's dead because of Krasner. Krasner, let me tell you, this district attorney lets out violent criminals. He let out 4 violent criminals out of prison early. They were serving a warrant on them. These guys shot through the wall, hitting Jimmy under his vest and killed him. Jimmy's got kids, a wife, and that's, it's terrible. And this, again, it's not about Krasner, but I can honestly say, if this man was never the district attorney, there'd probably be over 20 people still alive today. And that's a fact. That's a staggering statement. That
Just one person is
enough.
It's a difference.
Yeah,
you know?
yeah. So we'll move on from that.
So I want to know.
Sorry, Billy. I mean,
Yeah.
Billy's an active cop.
I
You
want to
can't say
know how
anything.
Billy.
I can.
I want to know how Billy. I don't really know what to ask because he's active. I'm a little.
No, that's a question. Hey,
Yeah, we'll
Yeah.
talk about his career.
Yeah,
That's all.
yeah, yeah.
I'm going on a tirade about that scumbag.
Yeah,
That's on
no,
me.
I
No
get
one's not
that.
saying
Yeah,
nothing.
no. So I want to hear your arrest. That everybody has a moment. Like one of my arrests changed the perspective of me, and I'll give you an example. Then you can come give me something. I'm walking a foot post, which was probably my regular thing in East New York. I'd walk 2 days, drive 3 days, like that. So I'm up on Fulton, and a description comes over there of an armed robbery. But the armed robbery takes place a mile and a half south of me. I'm walking on Fulton Street under the L, and a car comes down the block, and it's dilapidated. It's an old Nissan, square-looking thing, and the paint's coming off the car, and they give a description of a car that looks nothing like this. Nothing. Let's say blue. This is not blue. It's beige. 4 men, 3 men. There's 3 men in this car. That's the only thing that was the same. I said, that's the car. Remember how you handled it?
Nice and calm.
I'm on Cleveland and Fulton. I see them. They're up here. Now, this is a mile and a half from the scene of the other one. They're up here. They're getting out of the car. They're going into a bodega. Have the units respond. Have them. I'm giving complete directions. Come. Fulton's one way headed east. Come westbound on Fulton so you can jam them in, right? No lights, no sirens. What do?
Of course.
Lights and sirens coming. And what happens?
They took off.
They take off into the wind. We catch two of them.
Mm-hmm.
You always catch a driver. Isn't that amazing how that happens?
Catch two of them. And one of the guys, his last name was like Falcone or Finetti or something, Fischetti or something like that. He just came home from prison for armed robbery. He just came home that week. He was home 2 days for armed robbery, but they got him again. But funny thing is,
Didn't learn this
we
lesson.
didn't catch him. Civilian tripped him as he was running down. A civilian came out and tripped him. So I ended up with a nice pitch.
That is that.
The guns, I found everything. And the breather, the guns were in the breather inside the motor.
Mm-hmm. Oh,
So,
wow.
Yeah, really.
Good spot to hide it.
Yeah.
Mhm.
So calm, cool, collected. So that made me a little bit, you know,
Okay.
because it gave me a bit of a cherry, you know. So
Yeah,
everybody's
yeah,
like, wow, really good arrest, you know. So go ahead. Your turn.
Well, you know, I'll tell a story, but it has nothing to do with an arrest. Something that really
Okay.
changed me on this job.
Okay, good.
Had nothing to do with an arrest. And I'll tell you, I write about quite a few of the jobs. There were 2 jobs where there were hits out on me, where my sergeant and lieutenant, they wanted to put cops around my house. I told them, no way. I said, you give me 24 hours and I'm going to catch him. And I did. But that's not the story I want to talk about. That's in there.
No, you can't lead with
You
that.
read that story, didn't you?
Yeah, I read the whole book.
Yeah.
You can't lead with that and just say we're not going to talk about
I-
it.
You put a thing on me
okay.
too, right? He knows this, right?
This was a defining moment early on in my career. So I was working with a guy named Ronnie Price. Ronnie's passed. I usually didn't work with Ronnie. Ronnie was we went to the academy together, but for some reason Mike wasn't working that night, so Ronnie jumped in with me. Mike Cram was my partner, so Ronnie jumps in with me, and we're near the end of our shift, and all we hear is like AKs going off. So we start driving towards the AKs, and as we hear it's coming over the radio, there's a shooting
Yeah.
at Franklin in Indiana. So we go, okay, we pull up the front. It's 11 o'clock at night. There's 300 people out there at Franklin, Indiana. There's a car parked on the northeast corner. The guy sitting back. Remember the Daily News with Angelo Bruno and his head was back?
Yeah.
Exactly. And this guy inside of it, his name was Chino. I knew who he was. He's sitting back. He's like 300 pounds. He's sitting back. His head's back. His car is riddled. He is no doubt that he is dead. Now, we're trying to secure the scene, and people are pushing and shoving me and Ronnie. There's nobody else there, at least in blue, right there. And next thing you know, 20 feet behind the car, there's a woman face down with an ice cream cone in her hand.
Oh, no.
She got shot through it, and she's face down. I run back to her, and there's nothing. There's nothing. I can tell I'm trying to secure the scene, and everybody's pushing and shoving, and there's no way we secure it. We're on the radio calling for help, and we were in the middle of changing shifts. We were actually heading in.
Okay.
So you know what that's like.
Yeah. It's very...
So you got people already in, and people not quite out yet.
Yeah.
So we're going, and I'm trying to secure it. Meanwhile, the people are screaming at me. They're going, she's 7 months pregnant. Get her to the hospital. And me, if they weren't there, I'm just securing the scene.
Yeah.
Right.
Because that's what we're trained to do.
Of course.
Out of fear, we put her in my car and we went to Temple. That's not far.
Yeah.
Temple's about 4 or 5 blocks.
Mhm.
And I let Temple know what I was coming with,
Yeah.
you know, and I even used
And
the
they
word
were ready.
5292, which means that I have a dead person.
Yeah.
Okay. We went to that hospital. Now I'm fighting the hospital because the people are trying to get in there. I seen them cut that baby out of her stomach, and he was limp. And they got these little, you never seen them turkey basters?
Yeah.
Up here and down the house. And all of a sudden I seen, I cried.
Of course.
I cried. I was like, holy shit. Am I allowed to say that?
Yeah.
I was like, what if I didn't do that? What if I wasn't afraid? Because I was scared to death.
Yeah.
The only reason I took her because I was scared to death.
They're coming at you.
Now, I remember when the trial came, I don't know if you were on yet. There were 4 guys caught for that shooting. And Carlos Vega was the prosecutor, did an awesome job. That's when I met Carlos for the first time.
Great prosecutor.
So,
Hold on. fired by Larry Krasner.
Okay.
Homicide, one of the best homicide
Oh,
prosecutors
he's
ever.
absolutely the best.
Go ahead.
So I'm the first one up at the trial for the 4 defendants who stood in front of that car and killed Gino. They caught all 4 of them. And I had to describe that. Exactly.
Scene. Yeah, the scene.
I had to describe the scene. And I remember Carly saying to me, when they cut that baby out of his stomach, what was it? And I'm looking and I'm thinking, I said it was a boy. And I could see the parents. I knew exactly who the parents were. They just started bawling their eyes out. And I just, after I was done, I got to meet the parents. And his name was Lewis. Lewis was a bartender, El Cuamo. And I got to be friends with him. So we always had that connection
How
when I
was
seen him.
the baby?
The boy now, he lives with his Aunt Gladys here in Jersey. I haven't met him in a real long time, but I figure this happened in 97. So he's got to be 28, 29 years
Wow.
old. Yeah, but
Wow.
that absolutely blew my mind, and it kind of changes you. It absolutely changes, and not for a bad way. I mean, I don't think I always tell the young guys, don't take anything out there personal. You know,
Yeah.
I always joke with people. I say, you know, dealing with criminals, I know what to deal with because they're criminals.
Yeah,
That's
easy.
their job to commit crime.
Yeah.
It's our job to catch them.
Right.
Dealing with cops is harder.
Yeah.
You know, and that's a fact. I don't mean that in a bad, but
No,
they are. You know,
Yes, it is.
it's harder. But you know, and I
We
try
talk about it all the time.
don't take it personal. I always tell people, like, I'll testify in court and I see the young guys get upset. I said, don't get upset. You know, we're just witnesses. All we really are is witnesses.
Yeah.
We say what we saw. It's up to someone else to make that determination, whether you're guilty or whether you're innocent.
Yeah.
It ain't us.
Yeah.
And if they go the other way, it's okay. Like, we did our job.
Yeah.
But if you take that personal, you'll hate this job.
Yeah.
You know, and
It's
that's
very
the
easy
truth.
to do that. Yeah.
That's the
Yeah.
truth.
So you're in the 25th district. When does the and you know you get narcotics nets, right? You're doing that stuff, which
Yeah.
is, you know, it's high speed stuff. But then the DEA comes knocking.
Well, what happened was it was real weird. In '95, I applied for a class, and it was a class in a FBI academy, and it was a month-long class for defensive tactic instructor. So I decided to put my name in the hat, and I got selected, and I was able to go down and take this class.
Mhm.
I was a month down there. Maybe it was '94. It was early. And then I had to go up to Westchester County, New York, and do an 80-hour teaching block to get my my certification, my federal certification to teach at an academy in self-defense.
Mhm.
So I'm like, okay, that's cool. So what happened while I'm in the 25th, I get a call from the Atlantic Olympic Committee. They're putting together an international police force, and the ATF is putting it together, and the Georgia State Police, and they knew about my background.
Okay.
Speak more than one language. I could look like an athlete. And there was, I was selected, and I went down and worked the games. So, I mean, it was really cool. I got pictures with people with their gold medals. I joke with people. I
The
said,
Olympic Games in Atlanta.
Olympic Games in Atlanta.
What happened with the bombing?
With
Were
the
you there for
bombing?
that?
Well, I got a funny story with that. I'll tell it. Okay. I'm not getting in trouble. So we're down in Atlanta during the bombing, and we were all out at a gentleman's club, for lack of a
It
better
happens.
words.
It happens. We end
Right.
up there occasionally.
And we didn't have cell phones then. So it's coming across the TV that there was a bombing, and all law enforcement personnel had to go back to the village, and we could kind of debrief them what's going on. Okay, then they kind of gave out like different assignments. You go here, you go here. We didn't call your name. 8 o'clock in the morning, be here. Okay. I looked at the guys I was with. None of us were called. We went back to the gentleman's club.
Nothing wrong with that. Oh, listen, that's
And the sad thing was, the guy was a security officer was accused.
oh, yeah. They
Yeah.
ruined his life.
Right? They
Yeah.
destroyed
Seeing
that guy's
that.
life,
Yeah.
man.
Yeah.
Yep.
And I mean, you know,
But that's when I got back from Atlanta. It wasn't long after that I got invited to work in narcotics. I guess growing up, I kind of knew a little bit already. I wasn't. A lot of guys are raw to that. I wasn't raw to it.
yeah, right.
So then I start working in the 25th Nets. Then I worked with Joe Bologna in the East Narcotic Task
Yeah, so
Force.
you're running 24th.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Yeah.
We're working three districts there: 24, 25, 26. We would get maybe sometimes 3 or 4 different jobs a night. You could never do that today because there's too much paperwork
Yeah.
involved.
Yep.
Then after
Well,
that,
Being Indiana was the #1 heroin corner in the entire
Yeah.
country for
yeah,
years.
Yep.
You would pull racks of heroin and lock up every street guy there. By the time you made it to the district,
Mhm.
there was racks back,
right.
and everyone was out working.
Yeah.
Well, what I used to do
Yeah.
is if we were going to hit, let's say we're going to go Hancock and Cambry, which was a pretty big 12
yeah.
corner. if I was going to do an investigation at Hancock and Cambria, we would pull up there the day before and we'd stand out in our car and look at them and they would walk away. Then I would scan. I would just start scanning. I would look, where would I be in a good position to watch
the
these
street.
guys?
Yeah.
So I like the rooftops. I like the abandoned houses. So once I found it, we would get back in our car and we drive away. It wasn't until the next day I would come back and get in that spot.
Right.
And sometimes we would lock up the dealer. I would tell them, go ahead into the district, get them in there, process the evidence, come back out. I'll give you the next guy.
Yeah.
I wouldn't even move.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I would stay there. We'd get
Yeah, no.
Well,
same exact,
call them in. The
because
guy,
they come right back. When you take one out, another one would come
Yeah.
in.
right. So
And that's pretty much all the pointers out there.
yeah. You would
Did
call.
did you remember Gittleson?
Yeah.
Keith, great guy. What happened. Love that dude. You know,
Detective, right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
detective. I love Keith. He was one of the best natural narcotics cops I've ever
Mhm.
seen. He wasn't in the nets. He was just a regular cop. He taught me how to catch the guys at being Indiana. And I didn't go with the narcotics.
Mhm.
It wasn't my thing. But you would drive down B Street, make a right on Clearfield, and there's a little street there, I forget what it is. You cut up there and then you'd make a quick, you would just, instead of stopping at a stop sign, you just gun it and make a right and you'd catch them in the middle of sales.
Oh, yeah.
And that's
'Cause it's nonstop.
And we're in a marked car and marked, we can't creep or be you
Yeah.
have to be, yeah. And
Invisible.
That's how you
Invisible.
did it. You
Yeah.
just pulled up quick. You see him in the middle of a transaction, boom, done. Lock people up. Now you're pulling out racks, and you got great jobs. He got some
Yeah.
great job that way. It was awesome.
I was,
But
I
that's
was,
how
lis-
we did it in
I
uniform.
was asked to describe that once, how it was. And my description was, it's kind of like the drive-through McDonald's, a little busier.
Yeah, a little
Yeah.
busy.
That's exactly what I said.
Yeah.
Yeah, Franklin and Erie was
Yeah.
a huge. That
Yeah.
one was the McDonald's drive-through.
Yeah.
People were lined up down the street
Yeah.
in cars.
Yeah.
They had a drive-through window.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Mhm.
yeah. I mean, it was just blatantly let out in the open. I mean, if you couldn't
then,
lock up someone back
After
then,
that, what happened was
Couldn't lock
Joe got transferred and Keith Sadler got promoted. So they disbanded the East Narcotic Task Force and I fell into the 25th Nets,
Yeah.
which was actually, again, was just a lot of fun. And while I was in the 25th Nets, my sergeant at the time was Mike Bloom.
This episode is sponsored by AR Law, PA State Rep Martina White, Biondo Creative, Morrow Flooring, and Pops McCann Whiskey. Nobody move.
Nobody gets hurt.
I'm Nick G,
I'm Mike D.
and this is Good Cop, Bad Cop. I'd like to thank our sponsors today, Pop McCann Whiskey, smoothest drink in the land. Grab your bottle today at popsmccannwhiskey.com. Also like to thank Friends of Martina White. Visit votemartina.com for more information about the work Martina has been doing as state representative of Pennsylvania. We would also like to thank our sponsor, Biondo Creative. If you're ready to take your online presence to the next level, visit beyondocreative.com or call 267-362-WEB1 to discuss your project. And our title sponsor, AR Law, arjusticenow.com. We fight so you don't have to. Adams Renzi Law. We would also like to thank our sponsor, Morrow Flooring, hardwood, laminate, vinyl, tile, and carpet. You get military and first responders discount. That is Morrow Flooring. You can go to goodcopbadcoppodcast.com, click on his link for more details.
So Mike says to me one day, he says, you know what, Bill? I think you'd be a perfect fit for SWAT. They're looking for people. So I was like, you know what? Okay, I'll give it a shot.
I forgot, Mike. He was in SWAT too. I told you. This is the guy you want to be if you want to be a cop. You want this guy's career.
I knew what you had to do. So for like the next month, I would go up the academy at least once a day, practice my proficiency. I wasn't a great shot. I knew you had to score 95 or better on a certain course. And I practiced. And next thing you know,
Here you go.
I
I got
passed.
something on you that you don't have.
what's
I
that?
graduated number 1 in my class shooting.
Oh, wow.
Yes,
See,
I did.
I was not that good.
Funny thing
I
is,
was good enough to get a SWAT, but I wasn't the best.
someone who you know too was in my academy class, and he wanted it really bad. So he asked me to go out with him that night before. We never really went out. It's okay. He got me hammered, shot after shot after shot. Oh, it was a mess. I barely made it in. I actually had to run off the qualifying course. Do you remember Jane Smith? She worked at the academy.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Pretty redhead. I gave her my gun. And I ran to the porta potty. Throw up, everything. Came back, shot my badge course, and I was number 1. The dude was so pissed off. Look at it.
It didn't work.
Didn't work. I won. I got number 1.
So that was great. I mean, when I went to SWAT,
True
there's some great guys there. You know what?
Oh, yeah.
They are. If any unit there's a brotherhood, that is the best brotherhood I was a part of. Even to this day, I'm in what they call the SWAT reserve team.
Yeah.
Like I was just back when the Eagles won. When I showed the picture with Jimmy O'Connor, that was during the Pope. I was called back for that. I go back twice a year. I requalify with all the weapons to keep my certifications up. So I get to hang out with them guys. And it's just a brotherhood. It really is. Even the guys who are there not when I was there, they're there now. They treat me exactly like I'm 100% part of that
Do
team.
you know Planeta?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
He knows Dad, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Good people.
Yes.
You're the son of a fireman.
Yes. Actually, my dad was a chief, fire chief.
Yeah, and that's brotherhood.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
That's different.
That's brotherhood.
Different. Yeah. That's
Firemen will do anything for the next fireman.
Yeah.
Yes.
Rebuild a house. What'd you have? Problem with
Yes.
the house? Let's go. We're going to your
Well,
house.
they all have 2 jobs.
Bring your 7 kids. Bring your 7 kids, and they can work with us
Yeah.
too.
Schedule.
Am I wrong?
Yes. His schedule was 2 days night day work, 2 days night work, 4 days off.
Yeah.
And they all ran little
All of
side
them.
businesses.
All of them had
He
jobs.
had to. He had 7 kids.
7 kids in my house. Yeah.
Our friends from the Anti-Hero podcast always say this.
Mhm.
Firemen open up a business. There's firemen from all over the country that
Mhm.
support them. Cops open up a business. All it is being talked crap on.
Yeah.
No cops in there.
Probably right.
Yeah, it's absolutely right. It's
Yeah,
the truth.
yeah.
We are not a brotherhood like people think.
No.
Like
no.
not like the firemen.
Yeah.
But SWAT, when you get in specialized units and you're doing the things that you guys did.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, the thing about that unit too, there was no gifts. Where you had to earn your right to be there.
Right.
So there was no gifts.
Yeah, no one's parachuting.
Right. Exactly right. And you had to pass this, and you don't pass it, you're not going.
Yeah.
So even to this day, like I'm probably going to go back in a month or so to do my first quarterly with them. I'll do my shoot with them, see the guys, hang out with them. It's a lot of fun.
So
The
what
guys are great
what
guys.
year are you going to SWAT?
Probably 2002, right around
Okay.
then. And I was there while I was in SWAT.
My heyday, boy.
Yeah, while I was
running
in
and
SWAT,
gunning.
there was. I know I liked about SWAT too. The first 2 hours of every day, I was hitting them weights.
Yeah,
That was
great.
great.
Yeah.
I couldn't believe they were paying me to lift. them.
$660 a year. Yeah,
Yes,
that old
exactly
school
right.
jet,
That's where
yeah.
I was.
Yep.
So while I was in
That's
SWAT, I get a phone call from an inspector, and I don't know if you remember Tommy Nestel. Tommy was the
Yeah.
inspector, and he was going to intelligence, and he was starting up a unit, and he said to me, "I'm able to handpick my people, and I want you to be a part of it."
Criminal intelligence?
Yes. So I'm like, what do you say? What do you say?
No, you have to when
Right.
that happens.
So I
What do you
decided
do
to
about it?
go there, and the irony is, within a year, he left the department and went to some township.
Yeah, I remember. He
Right.
came back.
He
right?
well, he came back and worked for SEPTA when he came back.
Yeah, okay.
But it was a gift, Doug. I mean, here I am now. I'm in intelligence. He leaves, and I actually did some really. That was when I was in intelligence. Is when we did that job where there was murders in the railroad tracks. Were you around then? When
Yeah.
all that was
They
the
getting
one.
burned up,
Yes,
right?
they took all them garages down.
yeah,
they used to have all
wasn't
them
hookers getting
gurney-
burnt?
Now what happened was
They're burning them. Weren't they burning the bodies?
they were shooting. The drug dealers were killing each other from across the street.
Okay.
And that's what it was. And there was like maybe 6 bodies down. And I had my in with one of them. So what it is I give him my card. Say, listen, I know we're close. You gotta fill me in. So what he's doing is he's hanging out with the drug dealers who are doing the killings. And they're out smoking, doing dope. And as they're leaving, they're all putting on jackets. And one of the guys puts on his jacket
Oh,
and
no.
puts on the wrong jacket, reaches in and pulls out my card.
Oh, shoot.
So what do? They walk him out the front in Indiana and shoot him 6 times in the chest.
Oh,
Now, thank God for Temple Hospital's doctors.
amazing, aren't they?
I got the phone call that he was in the hospital, shot 6 times in the chest. So me and Ralph run to Temple Hospital, and there he's like on machines.
Yeah.
4 days later, he comes to. And when he comes to, he fills us in on what happened. He's ready to testify against these guys. He's pissed off. Next thing you know, 2 days later, another guy shot at the same location as the room next to him. And they're calling me saying, yo, this guy in the room, he wants to talk to you. I go, okay. So I go to Temple, and I know him. I recognize him right away. His street name was Monito, which means ponytail. So I talked to Monito, and he's telling me that they realized that the other guy's conscious, and I was the one who's getting in on them. And he turns to the other 2 guys and says, Hunter's next. We got to take care of him. And he's going to offer a ball of heroin, which is probably about $10,000 worth of heroin.
Right.
So he said, whoa, I think you guys are going a little too far. They pull out and they shoot him too. So what we wound up doing is we get these 2 in protective custody.
Mhm.
And we had to ship them away to a hotel out of the city. But in the meantime, my lieutenant and my sergeant, my Jimmy Muller, Jimmy was a great guy to work with. Jimmy says to me, "Yo, we're going to put people at your house." I said, "No, you're not. I'm not going to live like that." I said, "You know what? You give me 24 hours. I know where he's going to be. He's a drug dealer. He's a boss. He's going to show up at one of his corners to collect money. That's how he makes money." So we sat out there probably for 12 hours. My lieutenant at the time, he's like, "Bill, I think this is going to be a wash.
What
Nothing's
corner
going
is
to
this?
happen." 1800 Cornwall.
Okay.
You know
Oh
exactly
yeah,
where it's at.
right on Frankfurt Avenue.
Right off Kensington Avenue.
Yep. Yeah. Kensington's.
And I knew what he drove. He drove a white Escalade, and we're about to leave. And I keep telling my lieutenant, "No, I'm telling you, he's going to. He wants his money.
Yeah.
This is what they
Yeah.
do."
Yeah, gotta get his money.
Next thing you know, that white Escalade pulls up. I'm like, "Oh yeah, we got him." So we kind of box him in. I just walked real casually up to the car, and I said, "Hey, Miguel, how's it going? You looking for me?" We opened up the door. We cuff him. Took him straight to homicide. His trial. Now the other guys, they
What
pled
did he
out.
say? What did he say when he saw
He
it?
say nothing. The other guys pled out. They actually pled to murder. Okay, the two that were doing all the killing, and he actually pled out. Like that trial probably went on for about 8 years before it finally came to a thing. He had a great attorney. Okay, and he took a deal. He didn't even go to trial because we had so much evidence on him.
How long did he get?
20 years.
Damn.
And that was for solicitation to kill a police
So
officer.
he's
He
out.
pled to that.
He's out there, right? About
No,
coming up?
it's got to be coming up
2028,
soon.
yeah.
Yeah. Figured that was 07, but he was he got sentenced around 2016.
Okay.
But I imagine his time served would go from the
Yeah,
time we
yeah,
locked him up.
Time you got
So we locked him up in 2008. So he's getting close to the
Yeah,
end.
getting close.
Yeah, he's getting close.
No, he's not in the feds, is he?
No, state time.
Hmm.
State time.
Surprised
Actually,
the
the
feds.
irony is
Surprised the feds didn't pick that
he
up.
was up at Greatersburg,
Right?
and my cousin
Yeah.
Georgie, you know Georgie.
Yeah.
Georgie was the warden up there. And me and Georgie got to talking about it, and I mentioned the guy's name. And Georgie goes, "He's suing me." He goes, "He's filing all kinds of lawsuits. He's suing me." And he goes, "He's been in trouble since he got here."
It's not like the hunters.
That's funny.
So from SWAT, where do you head?
That's what I went with Tommy.
Criminal
Stella.
intelligence. Okay.
So what happened after that job, the one I talked about with the solicitation, we actually got an award from the Citizens Crime Commission. And that's not a Philadelphia award, it's a multi-jurisdictional award. And it was, they give you a plaque and a dinner. I mean, kind of meager for what you went through, but it was okay. I don't mind.
Yeah.
It's a job we do.
Yeah, right.
So it's okay. I was fine with that. Kind of a day off. I brought my dad down. There was probably 20 people getting awards, and I got this award with my badge inside of a case. It
And
was
what was
actually
the award for?
for taking down that whole drug business.
Okay, yeah.
For that job there. But it was
But
nice.
wait. For the Escalade guy?
Yeah,
Oh, for that.
So let me
Yeah.
tell you.
there were 5 murders involved in that.
Right.
That's,
And-
yeah,
and
that's
we,
good.
We cleared all 5 of them murders with them. That he was paying people to do that.
So I'm born in 1979. My dad did a lot of things that you did, a lot of undercover stuff at one point. And my mom, he was a homicide, and they had a conversation for I understand because I was like 3 or 4. Like we have other kids.
Mhm.
You barely were around then. You're gonna be around for this one. Stop doing your
Right.
nonsense, right? And then I'm not doing anything. Boring job. One day she reads a paper. Oh, Sal Gervais took down a Colombian drug cartel. Bought a couple kilos in a hotel room. My mom was like, Sal. And that was it.
Yeah.
They kind of went back to the detective bureau and showed
Yeah.
out. But he's doing stuff like that.
So from there, I got
Rest in
asked,
peace, my dad.
I got asked to go
Great
to a
detective.
unit called DDOU. And
the hell was that?
Dangerous Drug Offenders Unit.
Okay.
And that's more of we do long-term. That's when I got certified to do wiretaps. So I was working with Louis Melendez. I don't know if you know Louis or not.
Yeah.
Louis, absolutely, to me, one of the best narcotics cops I ever worked with. So I'm working with Louis, and me and Louis were stuck in a wire room for 7 years. All we did,
Right.
me and Louis, was listen to phone calls, translate calls. We took the
For
guys
7
down.
years?
7 years. I was in the
Wow,
Army.
that's a long time.
It was, but the only out we had is at the end of a wire when we would lock the guys up. We would go on the street, but the next day we'd be back up on another wire. And it got to the point where I was completely burned out, and that was
I can't
around.
believe you lasted that long doing
know.
something that repetitive.
Right around.
In a
yeah.
room? You?
Yeah, I know.
Rocky
2019. It was 2019. I was pretty burned out, and I was thinking about retiring. And I'm thinking, oh man, I just can't do this wire stuff no more. And I had actually went to my sergeant and told him I'm completely burned out. And somehow Andy Callahan calls me, and Andy got me out of it. And Andy's like, "I got space for you up with the FBI." That's how I got to the FBI. Okay, I got to the FBI through Andy, and I worked with Andy there. That was great. And then Andy went to the DEA, and about after he went to the DEA, he calls me up and says, "Hey, Bill, I have a spot for you. Come." I said, "Andy, I'm staying with you till the end, man."
So you're over at the DEA.
I'm
now.
with the DEA now, and I'm with Andy till the end. I'm what they call a TFO, a task force officer for the DEA. I'm still Philly PD,
Right.
but I'm assigned to the
So
DEA.
how many years in are you right now?
30. I have 33 years. Figure my start date is September of '91. So this coming September, I'm probably 6 months past September. So it's probably 33 and a half years.
Okay, so we have about 15, 20 minutes left.
Mhm.
We touched a lot on your police career, great
Mhm.
stories. So I know you've trained a few famous people,
Mhm.
right? So as one of your, as a wrestling coach, who's some of the people you trained and helped bring up?
Well, of course, before I talk about the best one, okay, there's so many other ones. Not just Eddie. You got guys like there's a guy Bob Dempsey. Bob Dempsey comes into North Catholic as a juvenile delinquent. Okay, we got him into wrestling. He winds up going to Duquesne. He's a two-time Catholic League champion. Goes to Duquesne University, wins over 90 matches at Duquesne, graduates Duquesne. He's running a business out in California. He's coming back. You got Timmy Murphy. If you know Timmy, Timmy graduated in '99. Timmy got a full ride to Penn. Okay, Timmy is now a financial advisor for Morgan Stanley.
Wow. So Dempsey was heading down Mike's path.
Oh, absolutely. Well, I don't know about Mike's path.
Yeah, no, not quite.
Then you got, I got another kid I coached, Mikey O'Donnell's an inspector. You know, a lot of guys are on the job. There's a lot of guys on the job. There's a young kid, when North closed, I went and coached a team called Bishop McDevitt.
Yeah,
It was hard coaching McDevitt because North was easy because it's right there.
Yeah.
So McDevitt's out in Winco. So I went out there and I ran it for 4 years. And there was a young kid on the team who lived at K&A. And I was like, how do you get to McDevitt? Why do you go to McDevitt? And he told me that he took the citywide test for the Archdiocese and finished number 1. And the Archdiocese, they said to him, okay, which school do you want to go to? He tells the Archdiocese why he's in 8th grade. He says to them, give me a week. I'll tell you which one. So he makes them wait.
Mm-hmm.
He calls them back and says, I want to go to Bishop McDevitt. So from K&A to Bishop McDevitt was an L ride and 2 buses.
Yeah.
Every morning. He's got to leave
Easy.
at 6 o'clock to be there at 8 o'clock in the morning. So he goes to McDevitt. He joins a wrestling team, never wrestled his life before, winds up being a Catholic League champion, 3-time district champion, wins 115 high school matches, and then takes another test while he's there, gets a full ride to Villanova.
Wow. When's this?
2014.
Okay.
So he turns around in 2014. His mother, she doesn't speak English very well. She says to me, what does this mean? She asked me in Spanish, what does this mean? She's showing me he's got a ride to Villanova. I said, it means he just hit the $1 million lottery. Is what he does.
I'll say.
Josh is living now in Houston, Texas. He's teaching at a high school down there. He's married. He's got a daughter. He's doing great. I mean, if you go from K&A, then of course Eddie. I remember when Eddie was in grade school.
Eddie Alvarez,
Yes.
UFC fighter.
Oh, love Eddie. Okay. He's living on the Gene Cornwall, right on the corner.
Yeah.
I got him in on the junior wrestling team, and right away. We knew there was something special about him, and I used to always go down.
What was the difference? Because
Full of
I
energy.
noticed there's a difference in the guys that make it. There's always a little difference.
He's got the edge. You could see it. He's got that edge where he didn't like to lose, and whatever it takes to win, he's going to win. I mean, you could have put him on a volleyball team, and he's going to be the best.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah.
So we get him to come out, and I remember I used to go down his block. You know that block.
Oh, I know. Yeah.
Okay. And when I'd leave the next day of practice, that he would say, they ask me why you keep coming down there. Okay. And I keep telling them, because I want them to know you're off limits. I said, I don't want them nowhere near you. And there was Latin Kings on that block, and I knew exactly who was there. But he's a great kid. There's a funny story about it. I didn't know it till afterwards. And this is what I found this out later, is that you know where K&A is, and Eddie's right there.
Yeah.
Well, back then, right now, all kids get like these passes to go to school for SEPTA.
Mhm.
They didn't get them back then.
Right.
I think only the public schools got them. The Catholic school kids get there on your own.
Yeah.
So what Eddie used to do is he would put his gym clothes on in the morning, okay? Put his school clothes in a backpack, run down to the L at K&A, run under the L to Erie and Torresdale, which is probably a good 2.5 miles.
Yeah.
That's 2 L stops.
Yeah.
Go behind the Dunkin' Donuts, get dressed, and walk into school. And that's a high school kid. See, that's the edge I'm talking about. Eddie's always had that edge.
Yeah.
But, it's funny, the team he was on, we were really good. And I wouldn't say, and he would probably admit this too, I know him, he wasn't the best kid on the team. We were just that good. You know, yeah,
On the wrestling team, you talking about?
yeah.
So Eddie wasn't the best kid on the team.
He was probably second best.
Oh, but
yeah.
he wasn't the best.
Now this guy Teddy Murphy was the best. Teddy was a beast.
Yeah.
Teddy would beat you, then look in the stands for your family.
Good Irishman. Good Irishman. Never had enough.
Teddy's he's teaching in Arizona. He lives in Arizona.
I was just in Arizona last week.
Teddy's a good kid. They've all done well. There's so many of them. I go even now. When I worked with the DEA, they don't have sergeants. They have what they call GSs, group supervisors.
Right.
My group supervisor wrestled on my '87 team.
Okay.
Yeah,
Really?
yeah. So when they told me, hey, we're getting a new supervisor, what's his name? They go Tommy Wheeler. I'm going, I kind of know Tommy. So it's great working with Tommy. He actually just retired too, but it's great working with him. You know, it's like there are a bunch of good guys over there. I'm really enjoying this end of my career right now. And
Oh, the book is fantastic. Where can people get this book? Surviving the Badlands.
it's about if you just Google it, you just Google survive, it comes right up.
Amazon.
Yeah, Amazon's easy.
Yeah.
You know, Amazon's the easiest way. I think Barnes and Noble has it. The hardest thing about writing this, I actually started writing it 2 years ago. Okay.
This is it right here. Surviving the Badlands.
I started writing
Help
it
out a real cop.
2 years ago. I
It's
started
riveting.
writing it because I've had the most incredible career, and I was probably done it in July.
Okay.
Okay. And from July to November, I was shopping for a publisher, and I'm new to it, but what I found out was like publishers are like used car salesmen.
Yeah.
I mean, I really didn't trust them.
Right.
They're asking me questions going, I don't trust this guy. Then I finally found one that I trusted in November, and it was published by January.
So your Spidey
Yeah.
sent the police Spidey.
Oh yeah, it definitely kicked in.
It's
I'm like,
always
wait
there.
a minute. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, they're asking me questions, but I think that the main pretense behind it is that I wanted people to know that the best tool that you're going to have on this job isn't learned in a book.
No.
The best tools right here. Common sense gets you far, you know.
That's
And a lot
something-
of times I handled common sense is what got me by.
common sense is lacking in this world today,
Yeah, it's
especially with the youth.
well, here a lot of times like it could be school, could be in a police academy. You get people teaching you that read every book in the world about it, okay? But they have no practical experience. And the best analogy I always say to people is if I wanted to learn how to swim, who do I want to teach me? Someone who read all the books in the world in swimming or Michael Phelps?
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know, and it's as simple as that.
Yeah. That's why I tell people,
Yeah.
invite me to your academy.
Yeah.
I'll straighten your whole class
Exactly.
right out.
Yep.
Mhm.
One day.
Yeah.
I've gone to police departments.
Yeah.
The guys hated me. By the end of the meeting, they're shaking my hand, nodding their head up and down, and saying, "I'm glad you came."
Mhm.
Within a week or
Mhm.
two, I get the phone calls back.
Yeah.
Listen, you changed my life.
Yep.
You come into that thing changed my life. I was going down the wrong path. I moved in a different direction.
Yeah.
I
I
get
write a whole
still.
chapter.
I
One of my
still got them.
chapters is on that. I write about that. Like
Yeah.
when people go through the police academy, nobody goes into the police academy saying, I can't wait to be corrupt. Nobody does that. You know, and when they graduate, their family's there, whether it be their wife, their children, their
pride,
mother, their
the
father,
proud.
the pride. But what happens to you when, maybe something, they make a bad decision. Like I talk about I think I average one officer a year since I got on. 33 years, probably 33 officers killed.
That's
I would probably
Yeah.
say 150 arrested.
yeah.
At
I
least.
remember going to the
At
academy.
least.
You look
At
around.
least you don't
Yeah.
hear about a lot of the arrests, by the way.
Mhm.
No, you
They're
know.
just- they're quiet.
Again, like we're talking to somebody retire or
Yeah.
you know, what I
Yeah.
mean? Yeah,
Yeah.
that happens.
Yep.
A lot of that happens.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I remember sitting in the academy, you look around. Couple of you, unfortunately, will be killed in the line of duty.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Some of you are going to be arrested and locked
Yeah.
up. Some
Yeah.
of you are going to get hurt and retire early, which
Yeah.
me.
Yeah.
You know, and it's the truth.
1 in 5 leaves 1 in 5 gets a 20-year pension.
Mhm.
When I went through the academy,
Yeah.
1 in 5 gets a 20-year pension. One of those people either locked up or jammed up.
Mhm.
3/4 disability. One quits.
Yeah.
And the other
Yeah.
and the other one
The-
just is a
Yeah.
complete fuck up. He can't do the job.
Were you in the 24th at Mikey Trask?
Yeah.
Okay, me and
Love
Mikey
Mike.
went to the academy together. So Mikey handles the pension side of it for us with the FOP.
yeah.
Mikey told me that right now the average cop after he dies gets 36 checks. That's
Really?
3 years.
Between
That's
retirement and
average.
death.
Yes. between
Yeah,
retirement
that's
and death.
usually within 10 years.
Yeah.
Cops die within 10 years from
Yeah.
their career.
Yeah.
That's the average.
That's
It might
not-
be less than that.
Yeah.
I'll tell you a
It
funny,
used to be 7.
Mhm.
I'll tell you a funny Mikey Trash story, and I can tell because I'm the one that got in trouble for it. Right? I noticed this new dispatcher was on, and I knew if I forget what it was. If I didn't do something on MDT, she would think I'm not on the board. You know, my car 2418 wasn't available today, even though it was called in. And Mike he left Highway. There was a big, kerfuffle on all the veterans. Mike
Donnie came back too.
Yeah, Don, yeah. So all these old timers that are like, again, like him, exemplary cops. They're awesome. They think they're great. So Mike comes back. That's my car. 24. I've been riding this car for 5 years. And Mike was like, "It's your car." I said, "Dude, what do you want to do? You drive." He goes, "Your car. You do what you want to do." And I get that little smile on my face. I said, "Well, do you really want to do what I want to do? Because I think we got a free day today." And he's like, "Man, I'm just going along for the ride." So we're good the whole day. We're doing what we want to do. I'm visiting girlfriends here and there. We're having a good time. Just off the radar. Nothing's happening. And by 10 o'clock, they got 24-8, something about that. And the sergeant's like, "Yeah, raise 2418 car for him." And like, "We don't have a 2418 today." And I hear the sergeant say, "Yes, we do. Have him meet me over here." I was like, "Oh, man." And Mike just looks at me. I said, "Don't worry, Mike. I'll take the heat for it." And I was cool with my sergeant, Billy Judge. I pull out. He doesn't scream at me. He just gives me gave me a look and said, "Nick, I didn't think it'd be you. I'm disappointed." And he drove off. And Mike looked at me and goes, "That hurt, didn't it?" I said, "Yeah, it did. I wish I got home now."
Oh, boy.
I was like, "Mike, I'll take the heat for that." That's my fault.
Yeah.
I'd like to thank our sponsors today, Martina White. Friends of Martina White can visit votemartina.com for more information about the work Martina's been doing as a state representative in Pennsylvania. Let me tell you, Mike, she's a big supporter of police. She backs the blue. She's a proven fighter for families, women, everybody.
Is she a patriot? Is she America first?
Absolutely. She encompasses, the American spirit for sure. We have a big population of listeners in Northeast Philadelphia, Southeast Pennsylvania, which would be her area. So you can check her out.
Has she been in? I'm not familiar with the Philly district. Is she new to the scene, or is she, looking for re-election?
She'll be up for re-election in a couple years, but she's been around for a while. She has a proven track record.
Okay.
You can check her out. Her record really speaks for itself, especially when it comes to fighting for everyday citizens and backing the blue.
It's nice to have someone back in the blue. I mean, the officers are out there risking their lives every day, and with little pay and little appreciation in today's environment, it's been very difficult. And as you know, being a Philadelphia guy,
unfortunately, that's something that's not common. Should be. It used to be a time where both sides of the aisle agreed on law enforcement, and that's something that's completely lacking. But with Martina White, she steps up to the plate, always has our backs, and does what's right.
Great. Good luck with Martina.
Yeah, you can get more information at votemartina.com. I'd like to thank our title sponsor of the show, Adams Renzi Law, AR Law. They can be found at arjusticenow.com. And just to let you know, I know both of them personally. Christy, one of the nicest people you'll ever meet, total sweetheart, absolute pit bull in the courtroom. And Nick Renzi, he's a South Philadelphia guy, true and true, neighborhood man. He's for the people. He helps people out down in South Philly, all around Philadelphia.
Their office is in South Philly itself?
Yes, their office is in right around South Philly, Center City, right on the border.
Do they handle a lot of criminal cases?
They handle everything, absolutely.
Are they on call 24/7 for someone who might take a pinch somewhere?
Why, you might be taking a pinch.
Well, I mean, you never know. I mean, wherever you show up, you got to be ready.
Well, you can keep their card on you.
Well,
go to their website and call them up.
Will they give me a deal since they're sponsors of the show?
You might get a percentage off. I'll have to talk to her.
Okay. Yeah.
If you used them a few years ago, you might not have gotten 14 years.
Well, that's another story.
Another story for another time.
That's right.
Again, AR Law, check them out. arjusticenow.com. We would also like to thank our sponsor, Beyond.0. In today's world, your business is practically invisible if you're not online. With so many options for marketing your business, it's easy to get confused. That's where Beyond.0 Creative steps in. They have the expertise to help you with all of your marketing needs. Need a website that wows visitors? They'll build it. Want to reach more customers with Google Ads? They'll make it happen. They'll even manage your social media so you can focus on what you do best. Beyond.0 Creative is A+ rated with the Better Business Bureau and Google Premier Partner. They're the real deal. If you're ready to take your online presence to the next level, visit beyondocreative.com. That's BIONDOCREATIVE.com or call 267-362-WEB1, Web 1, to discuss your project now. I'd like to thank our sponsor, Morrow Flooring, hardwood, laminate, vinyl, tile, and carpet, military first responder discount. Tommy, we had him as a guest on a podcast. You can get your flooring done by a real American hero.
Yeah, and he's on time and on budget.
Yes, he is. He will beat any price. Bring a quote. an estimate, whatever you have, Tommy will beat it, 100% guaranteed. You have our backing on that one.
And he'll be there himself.
Absolutely, you can get a real American hero do your flooring for you.
That's like when I had the homicide with the Coors Light bottles in the refrigerator, and the sergeant walks in, female sergeant, first female sergeant to run a squad in New York City. She walks in. She's in a wedding gown. She just left a wedding, not hers, her family. She walks into the building. She's in this dress. Good-looking woman, stunning, glistening, like my jacket, gown on, right? Like my jacket. She's got a gown on. She goes, I want everything printed in this thing, and even in the fridge.
Oh no, yeah.
Did I tell you this? Do you remember the story? And I turn around and I go, oh, I got the detective, who's like a little puppy to me. The detective and my partner both put a beer in the fridge, and me. We all put our beers back in the container in the holder. So when the boss walked in, we weren't drinking in front of her, right?
Oh, listen, you're cleaning up. You
I tighten it up. So she goes, now the print team's there. So they're gonna start printing everything. I go, son, I gotta talk to you. She goes, what's that? I go, my print's in the fridge. I didn't tell them, these other two guys. Yeah. It's hot. It was 100 degrees. It's hot. I had beer. And the print's on the bottles in the fridge. If these guys start printing everything, I'm going to come up as a suspect in the homicide. And I'm already in, if you understand my career, I'm already on the watch program, okay? So what does she do? She's so cool. She goes to me, it would be you. like, in other words, that's a whole load of stuff she just let out of her mouth. It would be. She's telling me, I know.
Same situation here.
I know who you are. Yeah, I know if it would be you, it would be you. And sure enough, she goes, get them out. I'm walking downstairs to the car. Get them out of here. I said, yes, boss.
That's great. That's the little things. Yeah. I mean, we had one sergeant. People used to hang up. You remember this? Would hang up little cartoons. You know, just razz.
Mess with him. Yeah.
And the one we used to call him like Patrick from SpongeBob, and they put his face on it, and he would flip out. He finally had it sent down to get it fingerprinted to find out who it was.
I remember that.
Yeah. I'll tell you, we used to call one guy Wilbur. Wilbur. Every time he got on the radio, we'd go Wilbur because he was shaky. Because he was shaky.
We had a few.
He was a shaky guy, but what he was he was the number one guy in New York City for overtime for 10 years. Number one. But when he became a boss, he Wilbur because he was a shaky son of a bitch.
Yeah, remember click the old radio, click people.
Well, now it's ID. I never did that because I always.
Yeah, you wouldn't. Yeah. I clicked every now and then. Not too much.
They would say something stupid.
Certain people deserve to click every now and then.
I've heard some funny things, you know.
Oh, yeah.
You know, running a tag, they'll go, yeah, there's a P, there's a D, there's a little stick man in a wheelchair, and then they say the numbers like.
You heard one? Yeah. You heard one girl screaming for help that there's a lion walking up Clearfield Street? You hear that one? Yeah. And it was, Mike, true story. She's screaming for help.
There's a lion.
There's a lion. It was an Akita shaved up for the summertime.
Yeah.
An Akita dog. You know how they give them like.
Yeah.
She thought a damn lion was walking up Clearfield Street and screaming for bloody murder for help.
We used to have a what they call a pool detail.
Oh God, I know. You were talking about the one getting suntan lotion.
There wasn't the Honey Park guy, 9th Honey Park, by Little Flower. Yeah, there's a pool in that nice town area, in that thing. Well, we used to have a detail there in the summertime where we had to send a car up there because if you're not, they're going to overload the pool.
Right.
And we're talking 3 o'clock, 4 o'clock in the morning.
Yeah.
So
we used to have a detailed pools too.
Sergeant comes in, he gives out the details, he gives a guy the pool detail, he drives up to the pool, and about 4 o'clock in the morning, he's going over air. He's wanting to know if there was a lifeguard working. And they're going, is there a lifeguard working?
At 4 in the morning?
Right. And they said, what do you mean? He goes, well, there's about 200 people in this pool here. And I don't see someone forgot to tell him why he's there.
So he's there the whole time?
Yes.
Oh, my God. Yeah, really, some people are not that bright.
Wait. He forgot to go home?
No. He got the pool detail, and they said, you got the pool detail. He said, okay. So we drove to the pool. While he's at the pool, he's supposed to make sure people don't go in the pool. But no one told him that.
So they were poaching the fence. They were jumping the fence.
No. We had one guy, I'm not going to say his name, pool detail on Tioga, you know, where Scanlon is, right? A boss drives by, here's this cop with his shirt off, having one of the lifeguards rubbing suntan lotion on him. Oh, yeah. True story, man.
Yeah.
I remember being in the district crowd when they were freaking out. Get him down there and get him relieved. Get him up here now. Wait, what's he doing? His shirt's off, getting suntan lotion rubbed.
I worked Coney Island, okay, in the summer, because that was my punishment. To get me out of East New York, they wanted to cool me down.
Yeah.
So, and I'm not supposed to go. I didn't want to go because, first of all, it's a smack in the face to send you to Coney Island. Number one,
On the subway.
yeah, it's it's a detail you don't want unless you volunteer for it. That's a different program. I live in Long Island. It's in 20 minutes each direction to my travel. You know, they screw you like that, and I got to stand on my feet in the summer in the sun. I get there, of course. I turned it into a party. It was an event now. Sleeves rolled up. You know, the short sleeve rolled up, tan blinds, oil, shirt unbuttoned, and back to the big crowd shirt unbuttoned down to here, fully tanned, and who's watching me across the street? Internal fan. They're standing there, but they're reading a newspaper. They're reading a newspaper. He's standing in a newspaper, reading a newspaper, looking over the newspaper at me. I'm drinking freaking Budweisers out of them from Brothers Hot Dog stand, sleeves rolled up, getting tan as hell.
Cops, we are our own worst enemies.
Yes, absolutely. That goes back to what I said earlier. Dealing with criminals is easy.
Yeah.
You know what
Yeah,
to
it is.
expect.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
It's just their job. It's our job.
Getting cars. There's, same guy that was getting suntan lotion rubbed on always would leave his chicken wings on the floor. I had a few arguments with him about cleaning up.
Oh, in the patrol car?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, no.
I hate getting.
Slob.
I hate
He
getting
was a
a car like
slob.
that. Yeah.
Yeah, you get
That's disgusting.
I used to have the wipes and start wiping the thing down.
Yeah.
It's just amazing how dirty people.
Slobs.
Cops were some of the worst offenders.
Yeah.
Really are.
We used to go to did you get the car wash? Did you have car wash tickets?
Yeah,
Yeah.
I got car
do.
washed.
Yeah, you go to the car wash. Yeah, we went there. They called us in one time, me and my partner. You guys paying off the fucking the car wash guy? What are you talking about? By the way, we were getting free car washes just for our own. For our own car. We're getting free car washes for ourselves.
Yeah,
But we would go there every day and wash the car. Until someone finally said, you know, you only supposed to get it done once a week. We didn't know. We just kept going and just kept going.
Part of the day.
Part of the day, part of the tour. And listen, it was a 9-4. Nothing was going on but me. I was the only criminal in 9-4 was me.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, right. At least that's what they thought.
Well, yeah.
Listen, this was great, Billy. Thank you for coming.
No
Anything
problem.
else you want to share before we wrap up?
I enjoyed talking to you guys.
Give us a little one rubric of wisdom that you want. Young guys, young cops. What would you tell a young cop today?
Well,
Find a new job.
The cameras. No, I still love the job.
Yeah.
I do. I still
Okay,
love it.
good.
I'm not going to burn time. I'm going to work up to my last day. I know that already.
Huh.
We wear cameras.
Correct.
Okay, that's the thing. We didn't wear them when I was in
No,
patrol.
I was against them, but now
Right. I'm for them in a way
Yeah,
because
I
you
was
know why.
against them.
I know you
My advice to
had
them
to
is
beat you
this:
down over that.
you're wearing a recording device. Make it work for you.
Right.
Okay. Don't make
100%
it work
correct.
against you. Make it work for you. Know it's there.
Right.
You know it's there. I'm in court every single day. Every day I'm in court. And sometimes I'll sit there and I'll see someone, and I'll even take them in the side room, that little ante rooms, and I can see they're nervous. And I explain a couple of things to them, like, be calm, and I'll tell them, don't elaborate. Answer your questions in one-word answers. It's going to be yes, it's going to be no. Don't go off talking about something that's not pertain. Don't say we did this, say I did this.
Right.
Because as soon as you say we, they're going to object to it.
Yeah.
Because you can't testify to what someone else did or saw.
Right.
Tell them what you saw, and we are just witnesses. That's all we are.
Right. It's not personal.
No, it's not personal.
See, I was
We are just witnesses.
I love testifying. I was very kind.
Yeah, me too. I
took it as a game.
Yeah.
Yeah. I the king of.
I love the banter with the
King of- yeah.
attorneys. I love
If
the
you
banter with an
rephrase-
attorney.
Yeah.
rephrase that question.
Yeah.
Can you say it to me like I'm in third grade,
Yeah.
please?
I don't recall.
Yeah.
I don't understand what you're
I
saying.
did a lot of.
Well, what
don't
I
recall.
try to do is I know what the questions will be. I know what they're going to ask
Right.
me. So what I try to do when I testify, I try to get that out indirect. Okay. So if I get asked that again, I will not comment. I thought I answered it, but I'll answer it again. And every time they ask me, I thought I answered it, but I answer it
Yeah,
again.
right.
I mean, it's funny. Defense attorneys aren't bad. I like them. I have a lot of friends who are defense attorneys.
Right.
I have a lot of respect for guys like Lou and Jeremy and, John.
Joe Savino?
Yeah, I do. I really respect him. I tell the guys that they will make you a better officer.
That's true. That is
they
true.
will make
That's
you a
true.
better
That's
officer.
true.
Lou was always that guy that walked in. You knew you were going to get a continuance.
Mm-hmm.
You're ready for the case to go, and you
But
see
you
him
know what,
walk
though?
in with his hair.
You get up
down
on
here.
that stand. You get up on that stand. You better be ready
Oh,
because
yeah,
he's
he's
a
gonna tear
damn
you-
good attorney.
He's going to tear you apart.
He's a damn good attorney.
Yep.
And he's actually, I like him.
He will tear
I
you
like
apart.
him. Yep.
It's nice to hear that we actually have some guys on either side of the fence that
Yeah.
that you respect.
Like,
You've been around a long enough time.
I'll talk to them, and some people come up after and say to me, "Oh my God, I can't stand that guy." I said, "Why?" I said, "He's going to make you better." You know, back when I was a
Doing a
young
job.
cop.
See,
Right.
listen. You got to see something. He's 63 years old. He's got years of wisdom behind him when he speaks. Like I tell everybody, that dollar I just handed you, not that I gave you a dollar,
Yeah.
that comes with 63 years of mine, 64
Yeah.
years of experience to
Yes.
get that dollar in my hand.
Yes.
It didn't just show up here.
Were you there when Seamus McCafferty used to do the front and west?
Yeah.
Another one. He made you better. Okay? Because if you got up to testify in front of Seamus, Judge Reynolds, who's it? Judge Kirkland, you
Gordon
get in
down
front
there.
of them. You get in front of them, and you're not ready. You're going to do one of two things. You're going to say, "I'm never locking nobody up again," or "I'm going to make sure
Get
that
better.
don't happen to me
Yeah.
again."
Right.
Gordon
that's
was
how
like
you
that
get
in,
better.
Juvenile. Remember Gordon?
Oh my God, yeah. Oh,
He let me eviscerate a
Mhm.
defense attorney once.
yeah.
He just let me go, and I just kept looking at him. He
Yeah.
just like nod like that. I just kept going, boy.
Yeah.
It felt great.
Yeah.
Everyone's
But
looking
they're,
at him.
they're the ones that make you better. Don't
So the lesson is
Right. You know, common sense gets you through this job. Don't take it personal.
don't take it personal.
It's not.
That's
personal.
really, I think, important to guys
Yeah,
to
you
remember.
take it personal. You
Yeah.
take that home to your family.
Yeah,
You
right.
know, you take it personal. And
Common sense
then you're
and don't take it
miserable.
personal.
Yeah.
You remember Clink Scout?
Yeah.
Remember? So,
Yeah.
One of the things he said that still sticks with me, and it's right. He says it's like a boomerang.
Mhm.
It says if it's right, it comes back right.
Mhm.
If you throw it out wrong, it comes back wrong.
Mhm.
So if you're right, you're right.
Right.
Be right.
Just say what you saw.
Yeah.
Just say what you saw. You know, if they turn around and say that's not enough, it's not enough. It's okay.
And
You still got a job.
And I love the fact that you specifically pointed out that the camera can be your friend.
Absolutely can be your
I
friend.
like
Make
that
it
because
work
that's
for
what
you.
I said from the very day they brought the
Mhm.
cameras out,
Yeah.
and everybody was against it. I said, look, if I had that camera on me, I wouldn't probably be sitting on this side of that
Yeah.
fence right now.
The only
because I
the
would've
only
held to
time
my
I
own
don't
standard.
want the camera, and I think they're not going to do it, is with SWAT. And the reason with SWAT,
No, you don't want to see their tactics.
that's
How they
exactly
talk
it.
to
That
each
is
other.
exactly
Well,
what
that's
I'm
different.
getting
Yeah,
at.
that's a
Yeah, no,
different-
they shouldn't have
That's a
to.
different
Right.
thing.
And they won't.
No,
I don't.
maybe because I know SWAT does patrol when they're patrolling. Maybe
Yeah.
they could have
Even with the DEA, we will have them, but not while we're doing undercover work or surveillances. We will have them as we serve warrants. Because if we serve warrants, we be covering evidence. I'm all for that.
I know.
You know?
This is a problem in the police world right now. A lot of SWAT are concerned about YouTube because there's a lot of YouTube footage out there on how SWAT operates.
Yeah.
And it's not just good guys looking at that stuff.
Oh,
The
yeah.
bad guys are learning
Yeah.
what they're doing and how the
Cut
SWAT's
that hard
operating.
corner.
Yep.
Way to come
Oh,
in.
yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, the pie and
Yeah.
six and all that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's
Yeah,
it's
I mean,
scary
it is
because
what it is.
they're learning.
But you know what, though? The majority of the criminals, I'm not going to, they're not this smart. Right.
They're dumb.
Because if they're this smart, they're not committing crime.
Yeah, right.
You know, they're doing the right thing.
Oh, Billy, it was great.
Oh, yeah,
We're gonna-
absolutely.
We'll have you
Good
again,
seeing
sir.
you again.
Yeah,
Been a long
yeah,
time.
Yeah, it's been a while.
Thanks for coming.
Nice
Really
meeting
appreciate
you.
it. I'm honored.
Yeah,
I'm
yeah,
honored.
it's fun.
Yes.
I'd like to
This is
thank
fun.
everybody out there. Please go to goodcopbadcoppodcast.com. You can check out all our socials. You can check us out YouTube, Spotify, Apple, Rumble. Please leave a comment. It helps us out. We were in the top 50% of all videos, podcasts on Spotify last year. We'd like to increase that, do a little bit better. We have a lot of great things coming this year. With your help, we're going to be doing a lot of live shows, going live, a lot of interactions. But we can't do it without your help. So please share, like, comment,
Subscribe.
Yeah, subscribe. Hit that subscribe button. Thank you. Love you guys. This episode is sponsored by AR Law, PA State Rep Martina White, Biondo Creative, Morrow Flooring, and Pops McCann Whiskey.